This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeff Gardner.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on, Warren Forgie with Wayward Barbershop. Warren, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight to be here.
Awesome, man. I know the audience wasn't a part of our conversation pre-show, but I want them to know that we've been having a close eye on you. We are in the same community. We know where you guys are. We see your Instagram feeds and your social media efforts, and we've been having a close eye. We like what you're doing, man. So if I like what you're doing, I'm sure the audience will. So let's tell them about it. What do you do, man? What's your business?
Well, I'm Warren. We are Wayward Barbershop. We're located at the corner of Penetang and St. Vincent in Barrie's East End. And I was thinking about that a little bit. We kind of have like a direct pipeline. We really kind of share the same street directly into Midhurst, don't we? So it's pretty well a straight line. But yeah. We specialize in haircuts, beard trims, and straight razor shaves. Pretty classic barbershop lineup. Those are the three services that we offer. I think we're a really fun place to hang out, debatably have great taste in music. And the five of us here, we're all friends, all the barbers here, we're friends outside and before hair. So there's a real sort of palpable energy when you come into the shop. And I like to think that our patrons are all kind of included in that. And it's definitely has a sense of community, I guess, for lack of a better word.
And that's the name of the game here. It's a community, small and local businesses. Nothing wrong with large businesses, but we're trying to take a little bit back. They own too much of the sandbox, and small and medium businesses are what drive our economy. Plus, they're what give back the most to the community. So I love what you guys are doing. One question that I have, amongst many other questions that I have, is it male and female or male only?
Absolutely. Yeah. Male and female. Everyone's welcome here. I think the only, perhaps, way back when that was a defining factor of, being at the barbershop was, quote unquote men's haircuts. But I think for the most part now, what sets a barbershop apart is short haircuts. So short haircuts on anybody.
Beautiful. And how long you guys?
Yeah, definitely a misconception of our industry for sure.
Wonderful. We'll be talking more about those because I imagine there are many in every industry. How long you guys been in business for?
We opened October 25th of 2022, so a year and a bit. But my wife and myself have been barbers for the last kind of 6-7 years. She's my business partner in all of this. And the other barbers in the shop also have, varying degrees of experience, anywhere from, 1 year, we got an apprentice right now, up to 10 years. So yeah, we got a whole wide range.
Beautiful. And that leads me into our next question, which is, I'm a why guy. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? I find so much. I love psychology. I love philosophy. Really understand kind of a deeper meaning of life. It really connects with me. And I find a lot of the things we do are just on, that they're just automated. They're just automatic. We just often go out and do things rather than thinking about it or reflecting. And I think that is one of the main ways for us to get better. And so understanding our journey, what brought us to this point? Why are we involved in this? Am I even doing something that I like? That's been a question that I've asked myself a couple times throughout my career is, why am I even doing this? Is it just for the money? Is it for somebody else? So I like to reflect on those things. And as valuable as they are to me, it is extremely valuable to me, and I imagine many others, to find out the journey of other people. So what brought you to this? Like, why open a business? Entrepreneurship is very challenging, certainly more challenging than most jobs of that of an employee. Nothing wrong with that, but I think it is the harder path. So why become an entrepreneur, and what brought you to hair, like cutting hair all day?
Yeah, you know what? It was kind of an interesting, I guess what makes us unique is I think all of us, with the exception of our barber, Andrew, is a second career for everybody. So I was in HR previously. I went to Georgia and got a post-grad in HR, got my HR certificate, was doing that for a bit. And my wife and business partner, she was a dental hygienist, so also a second career for her. And I got into it I don't know why. I think it's sort of this cliche when you're in high school. I don't know about you, but it was very much like smart people went to university, average people went to college, and the rest of the people went to trade school. So I kind of said, well, off I go. I want to be a smarty pants. I went to university and got myself a good desk job, and I found that just really wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And I guess at the time I was playing in a band. We're all pretty big music dorks here. was playing in a band with a friend of mine who was a barber, and they were looking for an apprentice at their shop, and I was just unhappy doing what I was doing. I decided I just couldn't do it anymore. The money was good, but I was willing to, kind of drop that, make minimum wage as an apprentice, and learn a new skill in order to be happy doing what I was doing. And I didn't know if I was going to love it, and I absolutely love it. So this sort of happenstance. I think there's a lot of kind of creative crossover there. There's a lot of people who are musicians and then get into hair as sort of a different creative outlet. So yeah, and then the business was just a natural progression from there. My wife Kristen and I worked at the same shop together. We both had a very sort of blessed intro into this industry. A lot of people get chewed up and spit out pretty quickly and kind of low paying jobs, but we both happened into a good barber shop that trained us well, and we had really great mentors. So eventually, it just made sense that we would branch out on our own.
I love that. I love that you said mentors. I talk about them all the time. We have a large team on this end of the podcast, and mentorship is a big deal within the team, not just me mentoring all of them. They mentor me. We mentor each other. It's just those shared human experiences to maybe avoid some pitfalls and learn some tips and tricks along the way. You empower people with knowledge. It can change the trajectory of their life entirely. One of the other things I love, because I remember at the similar phase of my life, good paying job, miserable. And I'm a fitness guy. That's what grounds me to this planet. And it is my thing outside of entrepreneurship. And I noticed that it was just declining. Like I was sitting all day. I sit now a lot too, but I have the space and the enjoyment to still focus on fitness as much as I do. But I was at that desk job, and I was a number of many, and it was a great paying job. There was benefits, all the things that you think you want. And I was just miserable, man. So took a huge pay cut. One of my mentors told me, go experiment with life, find out some things, like open some few doors. They will get closed on you and others will open up, but find out what you like and be willing to follow somebody who is a role model to you. Like go tell them, work for free if that's what you need to do to find out and the skills that you're interested in, and to put you on a great path. And that was entrepreneurship for me. I was very lucky to attach myself to a very successful woman who was running her own business, had a large team. And I said, I'll work for free. She didn't let me, but she's a good person. But it was that learning opportunity. I took a heavy pay cut. Life changed drastically, a lot of sacrifice. It seems like all those things wash away when you enjoy what you do. So that anybody who's listening that, is maybe making that 70 or 80K job a year, maybe isn't enjoying it and think I can't afford to take a pay cut. It's like, how long can you afford not to enjoy your life? So when you said that, I'm like, man, he just pulled a page directly out of my personal story, and I just resonated with a lot. I think that's a great journey and a why behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
were talking.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't think everyone can love what they do. I think that's but if you can at least enjoy what you do. And when I was, this sounds dramatic, but I was literally printing off a resignation letter and changing the date on it every single day. Like in the back of my Honda Civic was just 50 or 60 resignation letters that I never handed in until finally one day that I did. But yeah, it's not fun to be miserable.
No, it isn't. And money doesn't seem to, you can have all the money in the world. If you're not enjoying, there's not a quality of life. Doesn't matter, I don't think. So we were talking about myths and misconceptions a little bit at the beginning. Again, I think information and knowledge can totally change the way a person lives. Ignorance, lack of information, overabundance of information, somewhere in the middle. It's hard to find the right way, but if you get some good mentors in your life and you can get some good information, it can change a lot. So myths and misconceptions, we see it in the social media landscape. We see it in the political world. It's really hard to find the truth, to dig deep. So that's why we have experts on the show, local businesses that only do what they do to not only provide great products and services to our local community, but also to empower them with knowledge. So what are some myths and misconceptions, maybe specifically about the Wayward Barbershop or the industry as a whole?
I would just say as the industry as a whole, and we already, touched on the big one that I wanted to talk about, was that, the barbershop's only for dudes or a certain type of person. And, maybe that was true in the past, but it's definitely not anymore. And, even if it was, it's definitely not true for Wayward Barbershop. I think that's kind of what makes us different, is everyone feels welcome when they come here. And I think that's really one of the recurring themes we see time and time again, that we hear and that we see in our reviews. And I think like the second biggest misconception is that, the hair industry or barbering in general, that there's no money to be made in it. And
Mm.
it's just absolutely not true. Of course, there's outliers, and there's people who do it part-time like anything else that kind of drag down the average or up the average. But overall, you can make a really great living, even just as an employee in the hair industry. And I think one of the things that sort of sets us apart is that regardless if you're an apprentice with, absolutely no experience or someone with, a plethora of experience, we pay everyone, a living wage and then, up from there. So, we hope that people take it seriously and like it's, an actual, I mean, it is an actual trade, but sometimes
Mhm.
people tend to look down on the hair industry a little bit, and we want to kind of change that misconception.
Well, I love that, man, because, when I was thinking about common myths and misconceptions, I can't cut my hair at home. It's just too difficult because I can't see half of it, but I can see the beard. A lot of us men shave at home. Yet I haven't found myself, other than the odd touch up, I go every 2 weeks. So I'm about a week beard grower kind of guy. So I do a touch up myself just to come kind of presentable. Um, but why go to a barbershop to shave when you could just do it at home? You got to drive there. You got to pay for it. You got to drive back. Why do that?
Yeah,
I have my
absolutely.
reason, but I want to hear your reason.
Well, in the terms of doing like a straight razor shave, it's absolutely about the experience. It's about carving out that little bit of time for yourself to relax, to kind of turn the brain off, not talk to anyone, have a hot towel over your face, and just trust someone else to do a little bit of pampering for you. Like I pretty religiously get pedicures. Could I clip my own toenails? Absolutely, I could. Could I grind
Mhm.
my own heels? Sure. But it's really nice to go sit in a chair and have someone else do that and have that like little bit of human connection, honestly. And in
Yeah.
terms of like, beards are just tricky to do. You got to contort yourself into like a weird looking pretzel to try and get the other side of your face. And you're just chasing the lines. Everything's just a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Then you've whittled your beard down to nothing. We've seen that before. But I think it's just about having that human connection. And, although the barbershop's not specifically for men, it definitely is primarily men. And I think that overall, we're not great at finding those spaces and carving out those little moments of self care. So I'd say that's why you should get a shave.
Wow. Beautifully said, man. I love it. That's why I go. I mean, I don't shave everything off, as you can tell. So lining it up is important to me. I want to look crisp. There's a presentation that I want to give out there, but that's why I went, why I stay. And it's a half an hour away from me, is because it's just great, man. When I shave myself, neck blows up. I'm rushing. It's not a comfortable experience. It's really just like get through this to get on to the day. Whereas now I carve that space out like fitness or anything else. It's just a great experience. So for the people out there who haven't had a good straight razor shave, go spoil yourself a little bit. Outside of business, Warren, you talked a little bit about music. We love hearing about the business, but a lot about the person too. And I think life should be as fun as we can make it. So outside of business, I imagine business is fun. Most entrepreneurs do have some fun at work. But outside of business, what do you do for fun? What do you get up to?
Yeah, big music dorks, a lot of concerts. We're usually going to like a couple a month. Been doing a lot of stand-up comedy lately as well, which is fun. Doing a little bit more plays, trying to, get a little cultured, if you will. What else do we like to do? My wife and I volunteer at Street Cats Animal Rescue. Shout out to Street Cats.
Mhm.
Once or twice a week. So we go do that. We're kind of cat freaks. And, we like to travel. We like to eat food, all the normal sort of stuff.
Yeah. But
But
you're getting out there.
yeah, we like to get out
Any,
in the community and, be entertained.
yeah, it's great. It's great. So I've been getting into stand-up comedy a fair bit more recently. I've had a friend of mine kind of pull me in that direction. I loved it. I just didn't put any effort into it, so it didn't happen. And was able to see Schultz was a big one recently. Any ones that you recommend over the last little while that you just were like, this guy was exceptional?
Yeah, my new favorite is probably Shane Gillis, I think. Yeah.
He's so good. Oh
Yeah,
my
he's like
God.
everyone's favorite now. He really blew up these last couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Nate Bargatze last year. That was a good one. I saw Bill
Yep.
Burr. I mean, that's pretty. I'm trying to think of newer things I saw. I saw Dan Soder at like a cool, I think it was like the Royal Cinema in Toronto last winter. That was pretty neat. A little bit of a smaller, kind of more intimate experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Great. Great, man. So not only we like to talk about fun, celebrate the, the obviously positive sides of life, but we like to talk about hard things on this show. It's a philosophy that I try to live by. I think it's the philosophy that a lot of entrepreneurs, whether they know it or not, are probably living by. But when you delve into a hard thing, learning a new language, love, relationship, business, finance, whatever it is, these things need to be earned. And it seems like the price of admission is some level of pain, discomfort, or suffering. And I don't think humans are so much designed to be in that space for too long. I think we're designed more for energy conservation and to, we had limited resources for a long period of time. So we now have that space to not worry about necessities as much. And we can start to be like, what do I want for my life? What kind of creative work do I want to do? New language, new world, new whatever. They all come at a cost, and there's usually a great level of discomfort. So we try to talk about those things because I think they are being talked about more, the power of doing difficult things. But we like to echo that. So we love asking people about some hardships, trials and tribulations, challenges that they've been through, whether family, personal, business, whatever it is you're comfortable sharing, to really kind of shine a light on doing hard things is okay. Actually, it's probably a really good thing. You're going to find out more of who you are and what you're capable of and your impact from that. And when people watch anybody and they see that it wasn't easy doing what this person does, they get a more realistic point of view rather than just social media in many cases, just putting a sterling finish on a perfect life, which I don't know that it exists. So we like talking a little more real here. So whatever you're comfortable with, any challenges or trials and tribulations that you're comfortable sharing with, probably sucked in the moment. But when you look back, you're like, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't enjoy my life the way I do.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the biggest one for us was, getting over the hump of like that second career. I mean, like I said, we had a really kind of blessed intro into this industry. So I'm super thankful for that. But the idea almost just mentally of changing careers and kind of getting over the sunk cost fallacy of like, I've spent so much time and money doing this already. I know it would be better if I didn't, but what about all that I've already invested into it? So I think that was probably the biggest hurdle, in the last few years of changing careers and opening a business, was, getting over that hump. I'd say it was the biggest bit. But, in terms of other hard things, we purchased a house in 2019, just before COVID, thank the Lord. And, in order to set ourselves up to be able to open the shop and have a little bit more financial freedom, we took on a pretty giant renovation and turned our house into a duplex so we could have, a little bit of residual money coming in from that, to make the transition into business ownership a little bit easier. So, I mean, both of those were, relatively hard things. I don't know if they're hardships, but they were challenging.
Sure. Can I ask you how long it took you to pull the trigger on changing from one career to the next?
It's a good question. I guess really I'd already sort of left HR and was downgraded myself back to like a minimum wage position. So it was pretty easy I could have been pulled in any direction at that point. If someone was like, hey, I got a position as a plumbing apprentice, I'd be a plumber right now. I'm glad it worked out the way that it did. I think I'd like plumbing too, but yeah, I would say, once the position became available and the opportunity was presented for me, I didn't think about it for long. And, it's one thing I don't think very hard. I think really hard on things that don't matter. And then like big life decisions, somebody like, do you want to change careers? I'm like, yeah, let's try it. I'm a little
I think that's, I don't know. I think there's a lot of maybe faith. Maybe it's just your character. Quick decision-making has often been shared with me as an indicator of somebody who's going to get things done because they're willing to fall on their face really quickly and get back up really quickly rather than lingering on these decisions for so long. It just prolongs the inevitable. It's like, let's get it done. If there's a door opening, let's get in there before it closes. So I love that you did that. And that's some pretty rapid change from HR to that next role to a house. I imagine you guys got married somewhere in there. Or was that before HR?
No, that would have been after HR. We got married in 2018. My wife and I, we've been together for 20 years, despite only being 34. So,
wow.
Yeah, we had a long dating period before we got married. But yeah, we got married at like 30 or something, 29.
So HR to the next role to house to marriage to a business, all in what, 4-year period? 2018 to 20. Wow. Good for you, man. That's definitely hard. I imagine none of that was easy, but it looks like fulfilling is maybe the right word to describe
absolutely.
that. So I know we talked about misconceptions. We talked a little bit about your business at the beginning, but if there was one thing that you wanted the audience to know about Wayward Barber specifically, what would that be?
I think I've said it a few times already, but I'll say it one more time. We're a place for everybody. We're super welcoming. I know a barbershop can sometimes feel intimidating. Even for myself, honestly, I had never stepped foot into a barbershop until I worked in one. Growing up, I was always, that kind of quick cuts place or a salon in the later years. I don't have any like nostalgic childhood memories of going into a barbershop with my dad. So, even for myself who now owns a barbershop, it was sort of an intimidating experience walking into one for the first time. And I would say if you feel like that walking into our shop, then we're doing it wrong. Don't feel intimidated at all. We're very nice. We're very friendly. And I think that's really what sets us apart.
Yeah. And it can absolutely make the difference. I was in a fitness world for a long time. That was my first business before helping businesses grow. And so I was the patron of many different gyms trying to figure out where I fit. And that's already an intimidating space. Same with the barbershop, same with many of these places. If you haven't been there, yeah, some intimidation will come with it. And some of them were very cold and not inviting and great gyms. But the people, I'm talking more about the big box gyms. And then I would go to these little mom and pop shops, don't have the best equipment, maybe even more money because they don't have the buying power, but they just welcomed you. And the members that were there were often like, I've been here for 20 years and they still have rips in those seats. And I won't go to the big box stores because they know my name. They care about me. They know my kid's birthday. It makes a huge difference, that human to human connection. And I'm glad I asked that question again, because you brought it up a few times. That human connection, that experience can make the difference. A question that I don't put on the questionnaire, it's my secret weapon. It's one of my favorite questions to ask myself and other people is, I've talked about it a few times already. Mentorship is a big deal in life. I think we're all being mentored by somebody at some point, whether we know it or not. Good mentors can make a very big difference. I have been lucky enough to have a few, and they always encouraged me, once I was willing to listen, which took a little while, to reflect on the impact that I've already had. What have you done? Like, you came into this world. What has been the result of that? What is your impact that you want to make today? And what is the impact going forward? So simply, bird's eye view, you are here, you're affecting people. What would you like that to be? And so I often think about, what is my impact out there? I have all my rules to remind myself, tattooed on the arm, because I find if I don't have a reminder that I veer off course. But I really like to ask people that. Family, business, community, whatever it is, what do you want your impact to be in a perfect situation? What are you doing all this for?
Wow, that's a great question, and I was not prepared for it. So thank you. What would I like my impact to be? In terms of the business, honestly, I just strive to create a space where, it's really employee focused. I mean, it's not a co-op. I'm not going to claim to be, but to carve out a space where the people that work for us feel, really truly respected, and they feel like they make a good living. And I think above all else, something that I really focus on is just the word fair. Do you feel like you're treated fairly? So I feel like whether it comes to my marriage or our barbers or really anything, is do you feel like your interactions with me are fair? So I'd say that's one of the big things. And otherwise, I don't know what else we want to do. Pet some more cats, volunteer some more. It'd be nice to volunteer a little bit more at the animal shelter, give back to the community in some other ways. Yeah. I'd like people to think that I'm a good person and they were treated fairly. That's about it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm gonna take that fair thing from you if you don't mind, because it's so simple. People understand it, and I think it's really important because fairness is a tough thing to get sometimes unless we're intentional about it. How can people find out about you, Warren?
I'd say the best way to find out about us is waywardbarbershop.com, or check out our social channels, primarily Instagram. You can see all of our barbers' work. You can kind of see the vibe of the shop, what it is that we do, and decide if that's something you want to be a part of.
And remind us where it is again.
It is 132 Penetang Street in Barrie, corner of St. Vincent and Penetang.
Beautiful, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I love the philosophy, the reason why you do things, and how much you shared with us today. I'm very much looking forward to come getting a straight razor from you guys. That'll be coming up soon.
Absolutely.
Happy to have you on the show, pal.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.